Good day, everyone. I am Paul Guanzon, your storybook reader of the day. Have you heard the story of King Arthur? Do you wonder how he became a king? Today, I will tell you a story entitled King Arthur, written by Rachel Bladen and illustrated by Andy Catling. Long ago, in England, a wise and just king ruled the land. His name was King Uther. Times were good and the people lived well. King Uther wanted a magician at court. And so, he chose the famous Merlin the magician. Merlin could see into the future, and he knew those good days were not going to last. King Uther and the Queen Guinevere had a child, a baby son. At a castle party for the royal birth, Merlin the magician took the king. He said, "Sire, there is something you must know. Soon a great darkness will fall over this land. Your child is in great danger. Let me take the baby far away. I will be sure he stays safe." Do you think that the king will agree to send away his child? "Merlin," said the king in surprise, "you are a great magician, and you are my friend, but there is no way we could let anyone take our child away." So, the king did not like the idea of taking away his child from them. Not long after, King Uther was killed in battle. That very night, Merlin swept into the castle and took the child. For years, there was no king to sit on the throne, no king to set the laws. Men of high rank fought each other to be king, and darkness fell over the land. Yet far away, there was a quiet place. A good knight, Sir Ector, lived in peace with his two sons. His first son was named Kay, and his younger son, Arthur, had been adopted as a baby. When Arthur was 10 years old, unknowingly, Merlin was hired to teach Sir Ector's sons. Arthur listened with wide eyes, and he learned everything. By the time Arthur was 16, his brother Kay had become a knight. Kay was now called Sir Kay. Arthur loved nothing more than to serve his brother as a squire. One day, at lesson time, Merlin looked away. He stood up. What is it?" said Arthur. "The people need hope," said Merlin. "Arthur, there's something I must do. I must go now." And the next morning at dawn, people started to arrive at the market. There in front of them was something most odd. There was a big block of stone, and on top of it was a golden sword handle and a few inches of blade shining in the sun. Moreover, engraved in the stone were the following words: "Whoever pulls out this sword from this stone is the true king of England." What do you think will the people do upon reading the message? Will they attempt to pull out the sword? Indeed, you're right. As soon as the crowd knew about the message, men jumped up to that white marble. And one after another, they gave the sword as a yank. Each tried and tried, but the sword stuck fast, and I would not move. One said in gloom, "There's no man alive who could pull out that sword." "Well, see about that," said the voice in the crowd. The Duke of Cornwall, dressed in silks and ribbons, stepped up to the white marble block. Hear ye," he said. "I call for a tournament to be held. 1 month from today, knights from anywhere and everywhere in England are invited to come." News of tournament traveled fast. Sir Kay heard the news. Do you think that Sir Kay and Arthur will join the tournament? Exactly! They attended the competition. The tournament was about to begin. "Get my sword," demanded Kay. "Right away," said Arthur. But where was it? Arthur looked around in panic. Arthur ran back into the tent. Maybe he had left Kay's sword there. He searched through the bag of armor and weapons. Then he had an idea. Arthur lost Sir Kay's sword. What do you think will he do? Let us check if you guess it right. Very fast, Arthur rode back to the market square, and then Arthur stepped up into the marble block. Let's see if that sword can get unstuck. He took hold of the handle of the sword. He moved the sword a bit. "Hey!" he said. "It's looser than I thought." Then, one big tug, the sword slid out. Arthur was thrown back, but the sword was safe in his hands. "I will be sure to bring it right back." He raced to where his brother was waiting. "Here it is," he said, handing the sword to his brother. Kay took one look. "Oh," said in his surprise. "What is it?" said Arthur. But his brother was gone. Soon after, he heard his brother's voice outside the tent. "Father, I have something to show you." Kay and his father stepped inside the tent. "Look," said Kay. He pointed to the sword. Sir Ector stared. His face turned white. "Kay," said the father, facing his old son, "where did you get the sword?" "It is mine," said Kay, holding it close to him. "I have it now." "Kay," said the father again in stern voice, "I will ask you one more time. Where did you get this sword?" The young knight's head dropped down. "From Arthur," he said. "He lost my sword. Somehow he get this one." "Arthur?" The father turned to his younger son. "How is it that you came by this sword?" "I'm sorry," said Arthur. Father, I will put it back right away. I only meant to borrow it when I pulled it from the stone. You must take us to where it is found, the sword. At once! The three of them rushed over to the market square. Arthur climbed up into the marble block. It came from here, he said. He lifted the sword over his head. Then he dropped the blade back into the stone. Now it's back. Hush, both of you, said the father. It is better no one sees or hears us. But it was too late. A crowd had already started to form. Hey, did you pull that sword out of the stone? Called one. Yes, said Arthur. I did. Who are you? Called another voice. What's your name? I am Arthur, said the lad. Wait a minute. Put that sword back. A tall knight pushed forward from the crowd. Anyone can pull it out once it's been pulled. Go ahead. Put it back, son, said a voice. And it was the Duke of Cornwall, the one who called for the tournament. All right, said Arthur. He slipped the blade back into the stone. Where with this? Let Arthur try it again, said the Duke of Cornwall. Arthur, go ahead. Do you think that Arthur can successfully pull out the sword again? Is it a big yes? It is. Arthur stepped up to the stone again. In one motion, he freed the sword. And this time, he held it high above his head. The blade flashed in the sun. Amazed, the crowd didn't know what to think. One called out at last, "He must be our new king! We have a king!" Another called. At last, "Yes!" said a voice. All eyes turned around, and it was Merlin the magician. I know this boy. I know his heart. There's no one in England who has a heart that is bigger and stronger than his. And there is something else. A hush fell on the crowd. The lad, said Merlin, pointing to Arthur, is the true child of King Uther. He is the missing baby. Cheers began to ring out. Hail King Arthur! Called someone from the crowd. At last, a fresh young king had been chosen, and a new day for England. Do you like the story? I agree that it is an interesting story. If you were Sir Kay, would you also tell the truth to your father? Very good. Telling the truth is a good trait, because you will never carry guilt in yourself, and you will never hurt the people who have given their trust to you, especially your parents. If you were Arthur, will you also accept the challenge to be a king? Great! Accepting a challenge is empowering yourself to lead others, because as a king is a leader. What are the qualities that you should develop in order to be a good leader? Exactly. To be a leader, you should be honest. You lead by example so that all your people will respect and follow you. Do you have fun in our story session today? Are you excited to discover more of King Arthur's journey as a leader? Stay tuned for our next storybook reading. Good day to all of us.